First of all, I have to say that I really enjoyed the movie. It's
Thank you.
Amazing, and it's a very interesting, intimate portrait of a marriage.
Yeah.
What drew you to the film and to the character of Jeff?
Oh, well, I read it on my iPhone, and I found his first scene. It's not quite the first scene of the film, when he gets the letter about his former girlfriend who's been found, her body's been found deep down in the ice in the Alps in Switzerland. It just took my breath away. I had to read the scene again, and I knew already that I would want to do this film. And it's so well, I don't know, Andrew's turn of phrase and the instant little things he chooses to put in the script are so human and clever and expressive, I thought.
Well, they're very real characters, I find, because they don't reveal everything. It's not kind of exposition all the time or saying.
No, you can't. You have, like you do in soap operas, when they say, "We've got to talk." Oh, I'm turn off. It's not like that, no.
Exactly, and the character Jeff and Kate had been together for 45 years.
Yeah.
And it seems
they would have had their anniversary at the 40th, but he had a heart bypass. Exactly. Which is a great joy for the makeup girls. To do my little. Every day they said, "Do we see Tom's chest?" And they get to stick their little scar on.
Well, and it seems like fairly happy 45 years, and I mean they're planning this party that they would have done on the 40th to celebrate. But the actual film sees them obviously at a very difficult part of their marriage.
Yeah, the timing of his discovery of the discovery of the body of his former girlfriend, I mean a long time former, 50 years almost, is not good, because it's just a few days before the couple are due to celebrate their 45th wedding. And so when she would want him to be helpful and on board, he's away. He's gone away.
Completely over here doing his,
In fact, I went away because my wife and I went to Venice 2 or 3 weeks before we started filming in Norfolk. And I remember recently I said, "Oh, wasn't it lovely in Venice last time?" She said, "You weren't there." So lovely. You were just trailing behind me. You were in Norfolk already.
So life imitating art.
Took me over, yeah.
And it's, I actually wanted to ask about filming in Norfolk and the countryside, and how do you think that actually adds to the film? Because it's almost a character in and of itself, I feel like.
And with the script, there were 2 pictures. One of Alps covered in snow, and the other of the flat Norfolk reeds. And I thought, gosh, I just thought it was so imaginative to send these 2 simple pictures along with the screenplay. And it was a very nice letter from Andrew to me. But it sort of, heightened my feelings. Because there, it's, up in the mountains. You only see a picture of them. But we're on this flat. And it is very flat. Quite cold it was too. And but the countryside has a sort of strange beauty.
It is almost eerie in a way too. When the boat is going through the
cottage where we shot, but it was also well organized. I mean, Andrew's been living in Norwich, in Norfolk, for some time, so he knew the terrain, and they researched it so well. They found this house where we shot. There was a little house next door where we could, go and rest. And walking the dog outside, all that was.
And what was it like working with him? Because he did do the adaptation himself, and then so it seems like a very personal project for him in a way. Yeah,
well, one just knew how talented he was because he'd written it as well. Also, if you wanted to put in little things of your own, which I like to do, you didn't have to consult with the writer because he was the writer.
He's right there.
Yeah.
The source is there.
And he doesn't interfere a great deal. Also, he told us, he doesn't like close-ups too much, and so most of it would be 2 shots, and that helps to the naturalism, and I think, in the way we talk to one another and listen to one another.
And speaking of that, Charlotte is so good in the film as well.
Yeah,
what was it like getting to work with her? I think you worked with her briefly, probably.
No, we were both in a film, but we never met
okay.
on the film. No, I'd never worked with her. I'd hardly met her.
Oh, really?
We only had one day together. We read our scenes, and then we went for a drink and a little bit of something to eat, and that was it. And then we, did the film. We rehearsed on the day. He had plenty of rehearsal time, and we shot in order too.
Oh, okay.
You can't 100% because, like going to the factory, that would be a certain date, had to be observed. But the party, the anniversary party was at the end.
Okay.
And the first scene was at the beginning too, and that was very helpful as it developed.
When I noticed too, during his speech, I think is the only time when you hear either of them actually say "I love you." I think it's the only time, and he seems quite happy, and he talks about how it's funny how you forget the things that you love. I think, or the things that make you happy. At one point, and can you talk a bit about actually filming that scene, because it's very different for him compared to the way we see him for the rest of the film.
Well, in the script, Andrew always wrote. It was one of the few kind of directions he gave because he just mostly wrote words. And he said, this was terribly moving. Well, I never could see that it was, till I actually came to do it. And then the first time I did it was quite wild, and I was very emotional. With all the people there, and I think a lot of my stage experience came in handy there. It was just me with a microphone, talking, and I was upset because I thought I'd used up all my emotion in this very wide shot. But I seem to have plenty, because you can't force it, and if it's not there, you mustn't use it. You must do the thing in a different way. But I did find it very moving, and presumably it was the payoff for all the work we'd done, and the tension and the intensity of the film and the story. And it just came out, and he said, he shot it. I made a little joke at the beginning about, can you hear me, or I better talk sense then. That was my little joke. And then he comes in closer and he cut a joke that he'd written, because my joke was shorter. And then it just starts the speech, and he stays on me. And after I'd done it, I did lots of cutaways, i.e. doing it again while it was Charlotte and the people listening. And he didn't use any of that. He just
stayed on the
speech. So. And I wish I'd seen it when I saw the film, but I'd seen it in ADR, the dubbing, because he wanted me to see how it was done. Tristan, the producer, because I added some words off camera afterwards, which he didn't use.
Okay.
But he showed me the speech, and I was, very touched and very flattered, really, because there's no cutaways. So the timing, which is unusual in the film, is entirely mine. But when I get upset, and so I stop, and then I start, and then I have to make a little joke to help me to all that. He says, "Oh, to you, Tom," and I was very touched by that.
Have you been surprised, or what's it been like actually seeing it with audiences? Because it is such an intimate story, and you've been in this small area.
Yeah, well, at first on the DVD, Isabel and I, my wife, at home, we kept realizing so much that it was shot that was cut. Some characters were cut. Also, our dog kept barking. Every time the dog barked, he barked. So, no, Stanley, so it was difficult on the DVD, but when I saw it in Berlin, with a huge cinema, and I could feel how it held this vast audience, it was impressive. And of course, it's such a small budget, independent little film.
Exactly.
It's wonderful, and a great tribute to Andrew and Tristan, and the way they've organized it, and Andrew, the way he imagined it, and the way he wrote it.